Today we're making this Macrame Santa Claus pixel wall hanging, and don't worry, it's easier than it looks. Hi friends! For this project you're going to need single strand cotton rope in gray, and you're also going to need yarn that matches as close as possible to that gray. This is going to be for Santa's beard, so make sure it's a light gray color. And you're also going to need more yarn to match all the colors of our grid pattern. And a 6-inch wooden dowel to hang it all off of, sharp scissors, and I find it helpful to have a macrame board and some T-pins. And you're going to need a comb or a brush to brush out Santa's beard. And oddly enough, I find a dog brush works way better than a regular comb. Also, I find it helpful to have a highlighter to mark our grid pattern. Speaking of which, take a screenshot of it now. Alright, on your 6-inch wooden dowel, we're going to attach all 11 cords using a lark's head knot. To tie a lark's head knot, you want to fold your cord in half, then place the loop end behind your wooden dowel, and then thread the long tail ends through that loop. Cinch up the slack and then repeat with the other cords. Now you may notice that I'm using two different colors for my filler cords here. This is going to be a little bit of an experiment. I need my rope to match the same color as the yarn, and I couldn't quite get a perfect match, so I'm mixing the two in hopes that it blends well together. So we'll see in the end. Alright, for our pattern, we're going to start at the left corner and work our way towards the top right. And for our first row, we're only working with red. Grab a long strand of your red yarn, and it doesn't really matter the length. I like to work with 60 inches at a time, which is roughly my arm span. You want the short tail end on the left and the long on the right. Place your yarn underneath the first strand of rope, and you want to make a loop on your right. Wrap your long tail end around and through that loop. Now this is only a half hitch, which really isn't a secure knot at all, it's just a loop. So to make it a secure knot, we're going to repeat one more time. So make a loop on your right, wrap your long tail end around and through the loop. Cinch it up but not too tight because we want to be able to slide it all the way up to the top. Then go ahead and make your adjustments. And that is how you tie a vertical double half hitch knot. So let's go ahead and tie the next one again together. Place your yarn underneath the next strand of rope, make a loop on your right, wrap your long tail end around and through the loop, cinch it all the way up to the top, and then repeat one more time. Loop on your right, wrap it around and through the loop. Place your yarn underneath the next strand of rope and continue tying your vertical double half hitch knots. For the month of November, I'm doing a macrame Christmas tutorial every single day, so if that's something you're interested in, then I hope you consider subscribing. And I do have a confession, I did miss the last 3 days and I apologize. Unfortunately, my son was sick and I had a craft fair. However, the patterns I skipped, I might just add into December. If that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments below. Alright, once I complete a row, what I like to do is highlight it so I don't miss my place. Even though this is a smaller pixel, I really do recommend doing this as a habit. Alright, so we worked from left to right. Now we need to go back in the opposite direction. And we have our first color change as well. Take the same strand of yarn that you were working with in the previous row, and what we're going to do is we're going to go in reverse. So take that strand and pull it behind your last strand of cord. Make a loop on your left this time, wrap it around and through the loop, cinch it up to the top, and repeat one more time. So it's basically the same thing as we were doing for the first row, only it's in reverse. Alright, I jumped ahead a little bit. Right now what we need to do is we need to switch to a different color. Grab a long strand of your white yarn and we're going to attach it just like we did at the start, only we're going in reverse this time. So your short tail end is going to be on the right and the long is going to be on the left. Place your yarn underneath the next strand of rope, make a loop on your left, wrap your long tail end around and through the loop, cinch it up, and repeat one more time. Make a loop on your left, wrap it around and through the loop. But remember, don't cinch it up too tight because you want to be able to slide it all the way up to the top. Anytime you need to add a new color or you run out of length of yarn, this is the same way that you're going to attach a new piece. This is why it doesn't matter how long your working cord is, because anytime you run out of length or you need to switch to a new color, you're always going to be attaching a new piece. Always work with a length that is comfortable for you. Alright, now we're at the point where we need to switch back to the red. Lay down your white strand of yarn flat, then gather up all of your filler cords and lift it up and out of the way. Take your previous strand of red yarn, and what we're going to do is we're going to run it underneath all of our filler cords. Place your filler cords back down, have your red yarn go over top of your previous white yarn, go to the next filler cord and tie your next vertical double half-hitch knot. So anytime you want to switch back and forth to different colors, what you want to do is just run it underneath all of your filler cords. Just don't pull on it too tight, otherwise you might cause your work to pucker. For a third row, we're going back in the other direction and we're going to continue zigzagging all the way down to the end of our grid. Alright, now that we made it all the way down to the bottom, we're going to flip over our work and clean up the mess on the back. To do this, grab any two strands that are close together and tie a double overhand knot and then snip off the excess length of yarn. Now, normally for smaller wall hangings like this one, that is all I do to finish off the back. However, for this one, I have something special in mind. Now, this is all optional, so if you want to leave your wall hanging at this, then you can go ahead and do that. However, if you want to be a little extra, I'll show you how to spice up your Santa wall hanging. But before we spice him up, let's flip him back over and comb out his beard. Grab your brush or comb and let's go ahead and comb out the fringe. Alright, so now let's spice him up a little bit. I'm going to add a backing so that way his beard doesn't shift around, and I like to use fusible fleece for this. I purchased this off of Amazon, but you can get this at any fabric store as well. I'll leave a link in the description box for you though. Cut off a small piece of your fusible fleece so that it will fit the back of your wall hanging, including most of his beard. Bring your work to your ironing board and heat up your iron. Now this step is crucial. Make sure you comb out his beard perfectly flat. Lay it out exactly how you want it, because we're going to place our fusible fleece on top, and once it's fused on there, his beard is not going to move. Grab a clean dish towel and place it over top of your work, making sure nothing gets shifted underneath. Then start pressing with your iron. Pressing for 10 seconds or so in small sections. Pull back your dish towel and make sure everything is fused nicely. Next, give his beard a nice trim. I left the bottom part of his beard not attached to the fleece so that it has some movement still. Next, I'm going to take the same colored yarn and I'm going to add some details to his eyes. This helps his eyes not look so intense. I'm also going to outline his cheeks to make him look nice and full, and add some curly details to his beard. Once all his details are added, I'm going to grab this fabric stiffener that I also purchased off of Amazon, and I'm going to give him a light mist. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.